Yesterday, we started discussing about Kubernetes volumes. As we already know, right? Kubernetes supports a lot of volumes like host path, NFS, CBS, empty directory, Azure file, Azure disk. So we used host path, NFS volumes yesterday. Again, we use directly the volumes. When we are creating a pod, we used the storage, the volume to the pod directly. We are not using persistent volumes. What is the meaning of persistent volumes? The Kubernetes will maintain the status or the life cycle of the volume also. So we are not using that. We are directly using storage with our pod. If you see the pod manifest, if you see the pod manifest, right, we are using directly the storage with our pod. If you see here, we are using directly the volume. What type of storage you want to use here? NFS. This volume is mounted with this container, this path. Similarly, like host path also, we used host path value. Right here also, we are directly using what type of storage you want to use with your pod. Kubernetes has persistent volumes, PV, and persistent volume claims, PVC. So if you see, we have not created any PV and we have not claimed that persistent value. Instead of this, we are directly using the storage with our pod manifest. So in Kubernetes, the recommended way to use volumes is this persistent volumes. Even though you use host path, you use NFS, you use EBS, whatever it is, first create a persistent volume with that storage. Create a persistent volume with that storage type, whether it's a host path or it's a NFS or whatever it is. Create a persistent volume, then you can claim, the pod can claim that value with the help of this PVC. So persistent volumes are basically again a piece of storage in your cluster. So persistent value provides storage resources to the Kubernetes objects. Storage resources, like if you want to mount something with your pod, right, we can use persistent value, right? So persistent volumes exist independently from any pods that may consume it. Persistent volume exists independently from any pod that may consume it. So even though the pod is deleted, the storage should remain intact in the cluster. I mean to say the storage information will be still available in the cluster. So persistent volumes are provisioned in two ways, guys. Persistent volumes are provisioned in two ways. static values and dynamic values. Static values and dynamic values. Persistent value, PV. Value is basically a piece of storage. It's a disk. Persistent value exists independently from the pod which consumes persistent value. It's again one object. Persistent value is one object which represents some storage. And how this persistent value, right? This we can use this persistent value, right, with the help of PVC, which represents some storage, but it can be any type of storage. PV represents some storage. What type of storage again? It can be host path, it can be NFS, it can be EBS, anything. PV represents some storage. Some storage, which can be anything, which can be again host path, which can be NFS, which can be EBS, which can be Azure disk, anything. Etc. Just we are creating a persistent value which represents the storage. The storage can be NFS storage, EBS storage, but the storage information will be maintained in the cluster. Like the way we have a pod information, the way we have a replica set information, the way we have a deployment information, we can see all the values, whatever we have created, if you use persistent values. And we have a persistent values, it represents some storage. Again, there are two types of values, static values and dynamic values. And dynamic values. So what is static value? The name, right? Static value is nothing but which is created manually. Static values are nothing but which is created manually. As a Kubernetes admin, we can create persistent values manually, which can be used or claimed by pods, whatever requires some storage. As a Kubernetes admin, we can create persistent values manually, which can be used or claimed by pods, whatever required some storage. So whoever is deploying some application, right? For that pod, if they need value, they can use those values by claiming that value. So which is static values? As a Kubernetes admin, we can create a values upfront, and those values can be used by the pods, whatever pods require some storage. So can I directly, will I use directly the value, or we have to claim the pod, whatever pod requires value, right? How pod can request the value? Basically with the help of PVC, persistent value claim. Whatever pod requires a value, we have a value. Whatever pods requires a value, we have to create a claim. So pod will get an access to the value with the help of claim PVC. There is another Kubernetes object called PVC. What is PVC? Basically, so pod need access to the storage, right? The pod will get an access through a persistent value claim, right? So if pod requires storage, basically value, pod will get an access to the storage, basically value, with help of PVC. We need to make a volume request by creating PVC, by specifying what is the size, how much size you need, size, access modes, some other specifications. We need to make a volume request, that PVC request, volume claim request. Volume claim request, right? We need to make a volume request by creating PVC, by specifying the size and access mode, some other specifications. PVC will be associated with PV. Once we raise a PVC request, right, then we will use PVC in pod manifest. So PV represents a storage. PVC is basically request for a storage. This PVC we will use in our pod manifest. This PVC name we will use in our pod manifest. Persistent values, there are two types of values. Static values, which is created manually. As a Kubernetes administrator, we can create a persistent persistent values manually upfront, which can be used or claimed by the pods, whatever required some storage. Now, what is dynamic values? What is dynamic values, right? So we no need to create the persistent value object manually. We no need to create a persistent value object manually. As a Kubernetes admin, you no need to create a persistent value manually. So whenever someone create a PVC, persistent value claim, whenever someone create a persistent value claim request, if there is no persistent volume available, if there is no persistent volume available, will you get a storage? Let's suppose I'm trying to deploy a Mongo database pod. I need a volume. What I will do? I will create a PVC. I will create a storage claim, persistent volume claim. If I don't have any persistent volumes available, which is created manually, will I get a volume, guys? For now, no. Right? So there is a one more way of provisioning volumes without manually creating a persistent volumes. Right? So dynamic volumes. As a Kubernetes administrator, you can set up a provisioner, volume provisioner. Volume provisioner is nothing but some kind of a driver, some kind of a program, right? So if you have a volume provisioner, you have to set up a volume provisioner. There is a concept called storage class. As a Kubernetes administrator, if you set up a provisioner or storage class, the storage class will create a value. Whenever someone requires a volume, if there is a PVC, if there is no PV, right? If you have a dynamic volume that provisioner deployed as a Kubernetes administrator, if you have that storage class or provisioner, which will create a volume for us dynamically. You don't need to manually create a value. So dynamic volumes are right nothing but in some circumstances pod require a persistent volume that doesn't exist. In those cases, it is possible to have Kubernetes to create the value as needed if there is a storage class configured. So what is storage class here? In the interview, they may ask this question: what is static volume? What is dynamic volume? How dynamic volumes will be created? Storage class. Storage class is nothing but some piece of code, some driver. Code or basically a driver which can which will create volumes, persistent volumes. Whenever we have a PVC request and we don't have PV available in the cluster. So basically it will create a volumes whenever someone writes a PVC and that PVC doesn't, we don't have any PV persistent volume object, the storage class will create a persistent value. Again, what type of volume it will create, right? That is based on what type of storage class, you have deployed. Basically, storage class are provisioner, volume provisioner. You can have NFS provisioner. You can have EBS, AWS EBS provisioner based on the cluster type, guys. You have Azure provisioners, Google related provisioners, Google persistent disk provisioners, right? The storage class, basically a provisioner. So by default, if I go for a EKS cluster, I no need to set up the storage class in that cluster. By default, the provisioner will be part of that cluster. What type of provisioner? By default, I will have if I go for a EKS AWS managed Kubernetes cluster. I no need to set up the storage class again manually while setting up the cluster. So the storage class will be, the volume provisioner will be there by default in a EKS cluster. What type of provisioner it will use? I mean to say, what type of volumes it will create whenever someone requests volumes, someone claim the volumes, right? It will create a EBS values. You no need to manually create a EBS value upfront. If I go for a EKS cluster, you just raise a PVC. This is one object. You create a PVC. You need a value. You are deploying one application. For that application, you need a value. You create a PVC object by specifying the size. Right? It will create a value based on the storage class which you have configured in the cluster. Right? First, let me show you persistent volume claim, right? Then when I go for a EKS, we will see how it will work. Now, do I have any persistent volume? Do I have any persistent volume claim? And do I have any storage class configured in this cluster? This is managed Kubernetes cluster. Do I have any storage class by default? Dynamic volumes, the dynamic provisioner. So now, if I create a PVC object, if there is no PV, do I get a PV automatically, the dynamic value, since I don't have any storage class configured? Now, I want to use persistent values. Now my pod requires a value. What object I need to create? In pod, I can refer PVC. If I just create a PVC and if I refer that PVC, will I get a PV in this scenario automatically? Because we don't have any storage class, the provisioner, which will create a value. So in this scenario, what type of volumes I have to use? If I don't have a storage class configured, what type of volumes I have to use? Static volume. What does it mean? As a Kubernetes admin, I need to create a value, whatever of your choice. So now, if you see Kubernetes persistent volumes, it's basically a storage. Persistent volumes. It's a storage that can be provisioned by an administrator, static volumes, or dynamically provisioning using storage classes, dynamic volumes. What is storage class here? Storage class is basically some code. Storage class is a way for administrator to describe what type of storage this storage class offer, right? If you see, we should have a storage class like something like this. You have a provisioners which will provision the storage, AWS EBS, right? In case of EKS, this provisioner will be there. Azure file, Azure disk, right? There are some provisioners which you can use. So you need to create a value, either static manual values, or if you have a storage class, that storage class will create a value, again based on the what type of storage class you have configured in that cluster. So we have some, while creating a persistent volume, let me create manually the persistent volumes, right? While creating a volumes manually, right, you have some types, volume type, basically access mode, what type of mode, right? You have some types. If you see, while creating a value, right, you have some properties, claim policies, reclaim policies, and access modes. If you see, we can create a persistent value of any type, host path, elastic block store, whatever it is. If I go to this host path, persistent value, right? So we can create a value, persistent value, something like this. Again, it's a one object. Static values. I need to create a value. It is again one object. API version, kind, metadata, something like this. So static values, I need to create a values manually. API version for a value is again V1. API version for a value is again V1. We need to create a value. Without creating a value, if I claim, without creating a value, if I claim, it will not work because I don't have a storage class. So something like this. V1 kind, what you want to create now? Persistent value. Metadata, name, name of the value. You can give some name, persistent value, something like this. Host path, if you want to create a host path value. Spec, spec, storage class. I don't have any storage class, so I'm saying manual. If I have some storage class, or if I don't mention the storage class, if you have a storage class and which is by default, right, it can create, but I don't have a storage class, so I'm saying storage class is manual. Capacity, how much storage you need, you are mentioning the capacity. The capacity, let me say, I say 1 GB. Now it will have a access mode, access modes. Persistent values will have access modes. Like we have some access modes, guys. Access modes you have read, write once, read, write many, read only many. We have some access modes. Read, write once, read, write many, read only many. So what type of access mode, right? So for this I am saying read, write once. What does it mean? What does it mean? Read, write once. Only one node or basically pod can read and write data, or only one pod or node can use this value. So only one node or pod can use this type of value. What about read only many, read write many? What does it mean? This value, this type of value can be used with multiple pods, multiple nodes, multiple nodes, or basically pods can read and write data. We can share this value with multiple nodes, multiple pods, multiple nodes. Read only many. What is the meaning of read only many? Many pods, right? Only read only volumes, read only volumes, but no pod can write the data. It is read only values, read only values. You have a access modes. So what type of value for you are creating, right? With access mode as read write once, only one node, one pod. Again, what type of value here? This is where I am saying what type of storage, host path, whatever path, something like this. Some path. So you can create a persistent value manually. Something like this, any path, something like this. Something like this. Any path. You are creating a persistent value. So if some pod requires value, can they raise a request to this value with the help of PVC? If some pod want a storage, you are deploying one pod, you need a storage, you need a value to mount. How can they request this value? If this value is created manually as a Kubernetes administrator, you created this value. How can I request this value? By raising a PVC, by creating a PVC. So while creating a PVC, right, you can again, you need to request manifest, something like this. API version V1 kind persistent volume claim. Metadata, you can give some name, any name, PVC, something like this, any name, some name, something like this, any name, spec. So since I don't have dynamic volume configured, I don't have a storage class, I am mentioning storage class name manual. Suppose if I have any storage class configured, do I need to create this object manually? If I have any storage class configured, I mean to say the dynamic provisioner has configured in this cluster, do I need to create this object manually? I just need to create a PVC. I just need to create a PVC. So who will create PV? Who will create PV if the volume is not available? Whatever storage class you have configured, whatever provisioner you have configured. As of now, I don't have any storage class. So I'm saying storage class manual. Then again, access modes. Read, write once, resources. You are claiming, right? How much you need. You can request how much you need. How much storage you need. I need, let's assume 1 GB. Now let's assume, guys, I have 10 volumes. Let's assume I have multiple volumes. I have multiple volumes created. I have multiple volumes created. One volume is having a access mode as read write many with 2 GB capacity, and one volume has an access mode with read write once, and the capacity is just 500 MB. If I have multiple volumes available, how claim will be associated with value, on which basis the claim will be associated with value, which value it will associate, on which basis it will associate. Suppose I have multiple values available, on which basis it will associate? Here, not with name. Here it is not with name. The claim will be associated with value based on which parameters, right? Based on what parameters it will associate? Based on the access mode, and also based on the how much you are expecting, how much you are requesting the storage, and what is the storage capacity. Suppose here I have storage created with 500 MB and the access mode is read write once, and this volume is available. If someone requests a claim, will it associate? This PVC will be associated with this PV. It is not based on the name. This is your volume name. This is your PVC name. So this sometime back in the interview, they asked this question, guys. So how PVC will be associated with PV if there are multiple PVs available, right? It is based on the access mode, based on the access mode, and based on the storage request. Something like this. So now my pod requires volume. So what I will mention in my pod manifest, right? So in pod manifest, here, we will not mention host path or NFS directly here. In our pod manifest, what we will mention? In our pod manifest, right? We are not directly associating the storage. In our pod manifest, what I can mention here? Instead of host path, NFS, whatever it is, you will not mention the storage here. What you will mention? The claim name, the persistent value, claim name. The persistent value, claim name. So here in your pod manifest, you will mention something like this: persistent value, claim, persistent value, claim, claim name. Whatever claim you requested, right? This claim name, something like this. Now pod will get access to the storage. Pod will get access to the storage with the help of claim. Now this is how you can use values. So what if access mode and the storage both matches, right? Then you can use a selector. You can use a selector while creating a volume, right? While creating a volume, you can give a labels for volumes also. You can give a labels to your volumes, key value pair. These labels you can use here as a selector. You can use those as a selector if you want to match exactly, if you want to use that value. First of all, if the volume is already associated with some other PV, will we, shall we able to claim? If the volume is already associated with some claim, again, will you able to claim again? Suppose already you have a value associated with some claim. We cannot claim again unless until you delete that claim. So now let me use this. As of now, I don't have any PV in this namespace. I don't have PVC and I don't have a storage class. The storage class is only one-time activity. If you want to use dynamic volumes, you can deploy the storage class, the dynamic volume provisioner. This is self-managed Kubernetes cluster. This is self-managed Kubernetes cluster. I cannot deploy the provisioner like AWS, EBS, something like this. So this is self-managed Kubernetes cluster. I cannot deploy. I cannot set up EBS provisioners. So the provisioners is based on the infrastructure which you are using. If required, I can I can deploy NFS provisioner. If required, I can deploy NFS provisioner. So if I just create a PVC, if I have a NFS provisioner, it will create a volume in NFS. You should have a NFS already set up. So it will create one directory in the NFS and we can use that volume. So first let me come in a reverse way. I am deploying one pod, guys. I am deploying one pod. Let me delete whatever I have. So now I want to deploy this application. I want to deploy this application. Now, suppose some pod requires a value. Some pod requires a value. So here, what I can mention here, instead of directly mentioning the storage, I am going to use persistent volume and claims. So what I need to mention in my pod manifest, suppose this requires a value, what I need to mention? Persistent value claim and claim name. Claim name. Something like this I will say MongoDB PVC. But I should request a claim. Did I request a claim? Did I have that manifest? Did I requested a claim? As of now, here I am mentioning the claim name, but what needs to be done? So I need to mention what is my requirement. What is your storage requirement for this pod? So I need to mention what is the storage requirement, what is the volume requirement for this pod. I'm just mentioning the claim name. Where can I mention what is the access mode, how much storage you need? How can I mention that? How can I mention that? For this, I'm just saying a claim name. So how can I mention like what is the storage? What is the access mode? How much I need? What object I need to raise? What object I need to create now? What object I need to create? PVC. PVC. Suppose if you have a storage class, suppose if you have a storage class, you just create a PVC. You no need to create a PV. If you have a storage class, if you have a dynamic volume provisioner, you just create a PVC. You no need to create a PV. The storage class will create a PV, the value, right? So now let's assume I just mentioned the claim name, but if I don't have that claim it already created, do I have a PVC now? No. I'm just mentioning the claim name. I'm just mentioning the claim name. Is our pod will be able to come up successfully? Let's apply. Now, if you see, your database pod will be in pending state. Why it is in pending state? It is waiting for what? You have to raise a request, right? Without raising a request, how can you use? Without raising a volume request, without raising a volume request, you cannot use that. So what it is saying? Persistent volume claim MongoDB PVC not found. So since you are deploying your application, you should define your volume specifications. That how can I define? What object I need to raise? What object I need to create? Persistent volume object, volume claim object, sorry. Persistent volume claim. Something like this, API version v1 kind. What you need? Persistent volume claim. Persistent volume claim. Metadata. So metadata, you can mention a name. Metadata, you can mention a name. This name, your claim name, which you are referring here, this name, the claim name, that is your name. Spec. Spec. I will mention storage class name as manual because I don't have any storage class. I will create manually. And your specifications like access mode, access modes, read, write, once, resources, resources, requests. How much you need, something like this. Now I am creating a claim and I don't have a storage class. So will I get a value automatically? Now I am trying to apply claim. Now I am applying that change again. So now I have a PVC, kubectl get PVC. I have a PVC. If you see, is PVC is associated with any volume here? Because I don't have a storage class, dynamic storage. So PV, let's describe what is the problem. Kubectl describe PVC, your PVC name, right? So it's a manual storage class. You don't have that provisioner. You need to create a manually. This volume has to be created manually. You don't have a storage class configured. You have to create manually. Now your pod has a volume claim. You have a pod. Now pod is referring the PVC. Now if you see, we are getting a different message. We have a PVC, but what it is saying is that PVC is bounded with any PV. Is that PVC is bounded with any PV? Now we have a PVC, but it's not bounded with PV. And why PV is not getting created automatically? Because we don't have any provisioner, dynamic volume provisioner, the storage class. So I need to create a volume. What type of volume you can create? Whatever type of volume, manually, whether host path, whether NFS, whatever. Now I need to create that volume manually. As a Kubernetes admin, right? I can create a volume, host path PV. I am creating host path value. API version v1 kind persistent value, persistent value, metadata, name. I'm saying host path PV, something like this. Spec, spec. Under spec, you will mention the details. Storage class, I'm saying manual capacity. I'm creating with 1 GB capacity. Access modes. The access mode of this volume is read write once. I'm saying. Again, what type of volume? I am using this host path value. Host path value. Path, whatever path. Something like this. Now I am creating a volume manually. If you see, my PVC is waiting for my volume because there is no storage class to create a volume. So I'm creating a volume. So API version is not set. Is there any typo? Spec capacity. This is something like this case. Capacity storage. Your storage capacity. Something like this. Now we have a volume created. If you see, I have a volume created. Now, do you see our claim is associated with that volume? Whatever volume I created now. Creating a persistent volume is not creating the storage class. Volume is different, storage class is different. Storage class is basically, if you have a storage class, it will create a volume dynamically. The storage class is some application, some like a driver, some provisioner. If you have a storage class, right, you just create a claim, the storage class will create a value, dynamic values. You no need to manually create this volume. Volume is different, provisionary is different, that storage class is different. Storage class will create a volume dynamically. It doesn't mean like you are creating a volume is nothing but a storage class. Storage class is some application that will create a volumes dynamically. Now, I have a PVC, PVC associated with PV. Now, let's see our pod, what happened to our pod. Is our pod is able to run successfully now? So, pod is using PVC. PVC is associated with PV. PVC is associated with PV. So pod getting access to the storage with the help of what? How pod is getting access to the storage? By using PVC. Now, can I delete a PVC if there is a pod which is using that PVC, or can I delete a PV? Right. So now if I delete my pod, still this PVC and PV will be available. I can use this PVC if I delete this pod, right? It will have this PVC and PV information. Now let me access my application. This is my port number which is open for this application now. Let me open that port to access that application. If you see, so now our pod is using PVC. PVC is attached with some PV. So this is where the pod is mounted. The data/db folder is mounted with this one. Now similarly, you can use whatever types of volume you want to use. Suppose if I want to create a persistent volume of type NFS, I can create persistent volume of type NFS. Something like this. So here I can create a volume of whatever, right? You can give any name here, that doesn't matter. Now here, guys, NFS supports what type of access mode? Read, write, many. Guys, again, we are creating a volume with either NFS, EBS, or host path, something like this. But does all the volumes supports, all the storages supports all these access modes? Again, does EBS supports read write many? Host path supports read write many? No, right? If you see, read write many supports, NFS supports read write many. It depends on the storage, right? If you see access modes in Kubernetes, the volume access modes, right? You have a read write once, read write many. You can create a persistent volumes of any type. You can create persistent volumes of any type, something like this persistent volume claim. You can use NFS, right? Access modes. You have read write once, read write many, read only many. In RWO represents read write once. If you see here, RWO represents read write once, ROX read write many, read only many, read write many. If you see, does EBS storage supports read only many and read write many, or it supports only read write once? Only read write once. If you see NFS, does NFS supports read write once, read only many and read write many? So these are the access modes, right? So based on that, I can mention access mode. And if I use NFS, server IP address. I already have an NFS server. I will use that server IP address. And what is the folder which mnt slash share, something like this. Now, as a Kubernetes admin, I can create a volume of my choice. As a Kubernetes admin, I can create a volume of my choice. Now I have a one more value. If someone requests that value, if someone requests this value, it is available now. It is not associated with any value, any claim. Suppose as a, as an operations guy, you are trying to create a pod, you are trying to deploy a pod. For your pod, you need a value. What you need to do? As admin, I created a value. When you are deploying your application, right? What you need to do? I have a lot of volumes available. Will you able to claim? What you need to do? You need to deploy along with your claim. How can I claim this one? What object needs to be created? And what object I have to use in my pod? I need to use PVC, right? I can mention access mode as read write many, how much capacity is I required, right? Now, if you see, there is a reclaim policy. There is a reclaim policies. Your PV will have a reclaim policies. You have some reclaim policies. You have a access modes and you have a reclaim policies. You have reclaim policies, something like this. Retain, recycle, delete. Retain, recycle, delete. So you have a persistent volumes have reclaim policies. Persistent volume has reclaim policies. What is the meaning of reclaim policies, right? So PVC is associated with PV. PVC is associated with PV. If my reclaim policy is delete, if I delete PVC, what will happen to the PV, guys? If my reclaim policy is delete, if I delete this PVC, if I delete this PVC, if my reclaim policy is delete, what will happen to the PV object? If I delete PVC, what will happen to the associated PV if my reclaim policy is delete? First of all, you have to delete the pod. First, you have to delete the pod, then only you can delete a PVC, PV. Okay. So it will not be deleted. So based on the reclaim policies, what will happen? If my PVC is deleted, how can I delete a PVC? First, you have to delete your pod. Then only you can delete PVC. If I delete a PVC, what will happen to the associated PV? If my reclaim policy is delete, the persistent volume also gets deleted. In case of retain, when PVC is deleted, the PV will still exist. the PVC will still exist, but it is not available for another claim. Again, if you delete a PVC, PV will be still there, but it will not be available for another claim. It will not be available for another claim. It will have that storage, your data, but it will not available for another claim. What is the meaning of recycle? Suppose if I have a reclaim policy as recycle, what does it mean, right? When the claim is deleted, the volume will be there, but what it will do? It will delete all the data within that storage. It is going to remove all the data in that storage. If my retain policy is recycle, when the claim is deleted, volume will be there, but it will delete all the data from that storage so that it will available for another claim. So you have some claim policies, guys. Your PV will have some claim policies. So sometimes in the interviews they're asking, what is reclaim policy, what is retain, what is delete, what is recycle, what is access modes, what is read write once, what is read only many. You may get a questions on this one. Storage is also very important, right? Now some other pod requires this volume, they can claim, they can create a claim. So if multiple volumes are available based on which the PVC will be associated with PV. Suppose if I have another value based on which PVC will be associated with PV, based on the access mode, based on your request and capacity. Based on the request and capacity. Now in this scenario, as a Kubernetes admin, you need to upfront create a volumes. Suppose the developers or operations guys are deploying applications with volumes, they are requesting a claims. If you don't have a volumes, is your applications will be deployed successfully? As a operations team or as a development team, they are deploying some applications, they are using volumes, they are requesting a claim, but you don't have a volumes available in your cluster, you have not created. Will it work? Right? No. Unless until you have a storage class configured. Unless until you have a storage class configured. Now let me delete this application. Guys, I am deleting pods, but will it delete your volumes and volume claims? I am deleting the controller also. I am deleting that replica set, which is managing the pod. This pod is using PVC. Now I am deleting those. Is this will be deleted by default? It will not delete. You will have. If you see, you will still have that PVC, PV. It's available still, right? Now, since my reclaim policy is retain, if I delete this PVC, will this PV will be deleted? Now I can delete PVC. Will I able to delete PVC? Because there is no pod which is associated with this claim now. Because I deleted that controller also. Can I delete this PVC now? So I deleted a PVC, but still you have a PV. Still you have a PV. Okay. So persistent volumes exist independently from the pod life cycle in the cluster, right? Now if you want to delete this PV, you can delete this PV as well. Now let me deploy the provisioner. Since it's a self-managed Kubernetes cluster, I cannot have AWS EBS provisioner. So what I will do? I will deploy the provisioner myself, NFS provisioner. I will deploy one NFS provisioner. I will deploy one NFS provisioner. So I have a NFS already. I just need to deploy one application, the provisioner. Now let me delete this PV also, so that I can show. I will not create PV manually. I will just create a PVC. PV will be automatically created. So now I already have a NFS, right? Now I will deploy the NFS provisioner. That provisioner is nothing but some kind of a code. But if I go for a EKS Kubernetes cluster, or if I go for a KOPS Kubernetes cluster, you no need to set up the provisioner. By default, provisioner will be available in that cluster. What provisioner it will be available by default if you go for a EKS cluster, or if you have created a Kubernetes cluster using KOPS, you will have a EBS provisioner, the storage class. So now let me deploy NFS provisioner myself in this cluster. So I will share that YML with you. So I will deploy NFS provisioner. So basically, if you see, I'm trying to deploy again. We are creating a service account. We are creating a service account, and we are creating a role. What permissions we are giving to this role? If you see, for persistent values, what permissions I am giving? It can get the persistent values. It can list the persistent values. It can watch the persistent values. It can create and delete. Why I am giving create permissions? Because this application, I am deploying one provisioner. I am deploying one application provisioner, NFS provisioner. So this pod, this container has to create a value. Without giving permissions to this container, this application, will it able to create a values? Because the dynamic values, it is going to create a PV object dynamically. If I don't give a permissions, will that application will be able to create values dynamically, persistent value object in the cluster? So what we are doing? We are creating a service account. Service account is like one user, and we are creating a role. I am giving these permissions to this role. Values permissions, claims permissions, storage class permissions. And we are binding, we are linking this service account with this role here. Cluster role binding, RBAC, role-based access. Then here, I am deploying that provisioner, one application, basically one pod, using this image. Here I am giving that service account name. So will this pod, will this container will have permissions to create a values dynamically? Now, is this pod or this container or this application will have a permissions to create a values? Because of this, I have a service account which is created. The service account is assigned with this role, mapped with this role. This role has these permissions. So RBAC, role-based access control, right, which we will discuss later. But I'm trying to give an overview, right? Now, I'm deploying one pod. right? NFS provisioner, one deployment using this image, this NFS provisioner. Now here, if you see, I am also creating a storage class. Storage class, what is the provisioner? NFS provisioner. So here I have mentioned this is my provisioner name. So while deploying my NFS provisioner pod application or container, right? I have to give some environment variables. Here NFS server, I need to provide IP address. What IP address you need to provide here, guys? When you are deploying, what IP address you need to provide here? You are deploying NFS provisioner and you are creating a storage class, right? Your NFS server IP address and your NFS server path. Now here, I am saying this is the default storage class, right? So this is the default storage class. So whenever I just create a value, what this provisioner will do, what this storage class will do, this storage class will use this provisioner. So where exactly your values will be created? What type of values it will create? It will create what type of values? If I deploy this provisioner, and if I create a storage class, what type of value will it create? Will it create host path values, or will it create a EBS values, or it will create a NFS values? So it will create a NFS values. So let me deploy this. Let me take this provisioner. Guys, do I need to deploy this provisioner each and every time whenever I want to create a value, or it's just one time activity when you are setting up your cluster? So you just change the IP address accordingly. Make sure you update your IP address, NFS server IP address. I'm taking the public IP address of this, private IP, which will never change. So now I don't have a storage class. Now let me apply this YML. Now, do I have a storage class now? Now, do I have a storage class? Now, I have a storage class. This storage class is using this provisioner that is running as a container, as a pod, that provisioner. Now, let me use same YML PVC. Okay, Spring App PVC. So I'm just creating a PVC. And I no need to mention the storage class name also, because that is the default storage class. Or I can mention the storage class name. What is the storage class name? Right? What is the storage class name? I no need to mention that storage class name also. If required, I can mention the storage class name, something like this. If I don't mention also, that is the default storage class. So now you can create, it supports read write once also. It supports read write once. If your pod requires read write once access mode, you can use this access mode, or read write many. Now I'm just creating a PVC. Do I need to create a PV manually? Now I don't have a PV. I don't have a PVC. I'm just creating a PVC in that manifest file. So do I get a PV? So now let me go to that NFS server once. Let me go to that NFS server once. If you see, this is previously I directly used this storage, right? This is previous related files, right? Let me clean up this. I no need to clean up, but I'm just trying to remove. So I think this is, I have not deleted. Okay, let it be. Okay. Now let me apply this. Now I don't have a value. I am deploying my pod along with PVC. Now I just created a PVC, but let me wait for some time, unless until I have some issues. kubectl describe PVC. Let me describe this PVC. So let maybe my volume, that provisioner is not running, right? My provisioner might not be running because of that storage class is using one provisioner, that NFS provisioner. It is running, but why? What is the problem? kubectl logs. Unexpected error. Self link was empty. So the provisioner is not able to create value. NFS storage class unexpected error. Getting a claim reference. Self link was empty, cannot make a reference. So with the latest, I think Kubernetes, right? There is some changes in the latest Kubernetes versions, right? I'll try to see what is the problem, right? It's already 7:30, right? So I will provide that maybe today. I'll just try to give working NFS provisioner manifest file. You can use that. So, but do you get the concept, guys? The concept is very important, right? In the interview, they may ask what is dynamic volume, how do you create a dynamic volume, right? What is reclaim policies, what is access modes, how claim will be associated with volume. That is very important. So I will make this working, right? With the latest, now we are using latest Kubernetes versions, right? There might be issue with the NFS provisioner which I deployed. The provisioner is not able to create the value. If you see, we created a PVC. PVC is pending. When I describe the PVC, I see waiting for volume to be created. I have a provisioner, but why that provisioner is not able to create? So the provisioner is running also as a pod, right? NFS provisioner. So when I check this one, when I check the logs of this provisioner, I see some error, right? So I will check this and I will update you. So tomorrow we don't have a class. What I want all of you to do is try to create and try to deploy applications in a Kubernetes cluster using Jenkins. Try to deploy applications using Kubernetes in Kubernetes cluster using Jenkins. Okay. So there is a detailed video. As part of this video, right, we have in detail we have explained like installation of Jenkins, setting up the Kubernetes cluster and creating a pipeline, right? So we are using same application. By following this video, I want you to set up a pipeline using which you should be able to build and apply this Spring Boot application to the Kubernetes cluster. You can refer this video or you can refer a one more video. There is a one more video here. Here, where is that? This one, Jenkins Docker Swarm or Kubernetes integration. Here I am using some private repository. I want you to finish this activity before coming to next class. Can we use PVPVC for only database pods? Is it only for database pods or whatever applications? What type of applications? You want to maintain the state of your applications. You want to maintain the data. That can be any application. You need some storage to maintain your data. Any application that is not only for a database. Okay, guys, that's it for today. Have a great weekend. Complete this assignment, and we will catch you on Monday. So we are trying to take lot of time, guys. If you see each and every topic, we are taking lot of time and making some effort to explain in detail. Try to utilize these sessions so that you can clear the interviews. You no need to depend on proxy. You no need to depend on any work support also, and you can clear the certifications. We are spending that much time, right? Each and every minute point we are trying to discuss, make use of these sessions and practice is very important. Okay? We'll continue on Monday. Thank you. I'm stopping the session for today. We'll continue on Monday.